Hey y'all, it's Chimney. I'm back. We're back. There was no gap. I saw y'all yesterday and I'm back again today. Like, we're doing this. We're actually at the end of the series. I'm kind of sad. You have now seen what I have been through in Europe. You've seen as much of the trip as I was willing to continue to pull out my camera to record. And now I want to go ahead and give you all a review of Go Ahead Tours. So Go Ahead Tours is a company that me and my two friends used. It was about 33 of us on the trip, and we ended up spending about like $2,800 just up front in terms of the cost of signing up for being in the tour. So what does that include? That does not include the cost of the tickets, the flight ticket there, and does not include the flight ticket back, but it does include the transportation between countries. So we took a train from London to Paris, and we took a flight from Paris to Rome, and all that was included and all that was covered. They also covered all the hotel stays. So you're not out here trying to figure out your hotel. Information is given to you. You just kind of roll up, check in. There's also breakfast every single morning, which is amazing, and I got used to very quickly. So there's a free breakfast it's not free because you paid for it, but there's a breakfast included every single morning when you go on this tour. You also have a tour director, and this is someone who is familiar with all the countries you're going to be going to. Our tour director was great. She had tickets if you needed to ride the metro. She had advice on places to go. She had directions for you. She had just resources for you. She was pretty responsive. She would give us recommendations. You could just text her if you need any help with anything. She was super responsive and super great. So, hey, Allie girl, big fan of you. Big fan of you. One thing I should include is that it also includes 3 dinners. So one dinner, we went to 3 countries, 1 dinner in each country. So when we landed in London, we had a dinner that night, including like a cocktail hour. And that's where we got to get to know the other 30 people in our group, which included an interesting mix of folks. We had like people who were there as a family traveling. We had moms and daughters traveling. We had people celebrating their anniversary. We had people celebrating like 40th wedding anniversary, people celebrating their honeymoons. So it was a good mix of types of people. And then it was the 3 of us who were just 3 friends traveling. So it was a good mix of people. They were all white. No, let me clarify. So me and my 2 friends are black. There was a mom and daughter who were Latina, and then everyone else was white. And they were all extremely friendly. A chunk of them were from Canada, but I don't know if it is about just regular travel groups that aren't specifically geared to like black women or like black folks travel, whatever else. But melaninly speaking, we were very lonely in that group. It wasn't bad because they were very friendly, very welcoming, very warm, very kind. But you know, it would be nice if they'd been like another black person just say hi to. But you know, it's all good. Dinner the first night in London, and then Paris. We got there via a train. We had like a night settle in, and then I think it was the next night we then had a free dinner. I could be wrong about that, and that is subject to change. But we then had a free dinner that was included there, and it was actually the night of the World Cup. No, that means it was the same night. So it was the same night that we took the train there. It was also the day of the World Cup. They luckily won, so it was great. And then we celebrated by having this great dinner, and it was French food was the best food. I thought French food was all just like escargot and I don't know what else, but it was delicious, and every meal there was so good, y'all. So we had a free dinner there that night, and then in Rome was probably my favorite one because we had this opera dinner situation. So before and in between the courses, these like group of like 5 people would come out and like sing these like funny and beautiful and like hilarious and charming opera songs throughout, and that was really cool. And that was actually how we ended the trip for most of us in that group, was with this lovely dinner. So all those 3 dinners are included, as well as breakfast every morning and the transportation in between countries during the trip, as well as the tour director and the hotel room. Overall, I would say yes, do it. It is so convenient to have someone who is familiar with the country. If you don't already have friends in the countries you're going to, it is so nice to have somebody who is familiar with the country and is there to just help you if you have a question about something, versus you just gonna have to do everything by yourself, or you and your friends trying to figure it all out ahead of time. It is just so convenient. Our tour director would print out, and before each country we went to, she would print out like information about the country, key phrases to learn if it was in a different language, background, key places to go. Like she would print all that stuff out for us and hand it to us ready, from the get-go, So that was so great to have. One thing in terms of hidden costs, none of the excursions are included. So if you're going to Vatican City, that's not included. If you're going to visit the Eiffel Tower, that's not included. What is included is a tour of the city. Usually the next day when you land in that morning, there will be a bus driver and a tour guide, as well as a tour director, and you will go around that city and explore all the different places and hop out, take photos, all that good stuff. And it'll last for like 3 hours or so. And then you'll get back on the bus if you're heading back to the hotel, or you'll just kind of be dropped off in whatever area you're in and you can explore for yourself from there. So that is included, which is nice. Just like a setting, you know, get yourself settled into like, okay, where are you? And get some like really great views. That's great. But any kind of deeper additional like excursion. So if you wanted to do like a river cruise of the Eiffel Tower, if you wanted to see Vatican City, if you wanted to go to Buckingham Palace or the Palace of Versailles or something like that, you would have to pay extra for that. And they're pretty sizable chunks of change. Like it'll be like $100 to go on a tour that is like a free tour. So you're like, why am I paying this money? And the reason you're paying this money, one thing we kind of learned the hard way, is because unless you have somebody explaining to you why, for me personally, this was our experience. Unless you have somebody explaining to you why this random painting is important, it's just a random painting. Like it means nothing to you. We tried going to the Louvre because, you know, Beyonce did a video on the Louvre. So we were already gonna go and now we're super excited. And you know, the Mona Lisa is there and there's a bunch of other very, you know, famous pieces of art that are there. But the rest of the Louvre is just random art. And unless you're this history buff, unless you just really know a lot about art and culture, it's just gonna be just going over your head. You need to have some kind of tour guide there to explain it to you. And when you do have a tour guide, it makes all the difference. We went to Vatican City in Rome, had the best tour guide. He did tour guiding like he was just telling you an amazing story. Like it was literally just like you put on your headphones and you were just on this amazing audiobook of like nature and history and life and religion and faith. It was amazing. I appreciated Vatican City so much more because this man was directing me through the St. Paul's Cathedral, and it was amazing. Like I wish I could have this man just walk with me through life and he could just be like, Shimdi, here the monument was blah, blah, and I'll just be like, yeah, wow, powerful. Like you just learned so much, and you just really notice the difference if you're out here wandering through these places by yourself. Like, yeah, this is beautiful, this is cool. It just means nothing to you. So those excursions I think are very much worth the price. Some of the excursions we also did with this company included our pasta making class, which was really cool. I haven't done one before. I don't know how it compares to like a regular one you could take here in America, but it was amazing. That was only the one we paid for. It was Vatican City, which was amazing, and then the cooking class, which was awesome. And it made me wish we actually had paid for more excursions because they were great. Like there wasn't one we had that was like garbage and boring. They were all awesome. So in London, we ended up doing a lot of the stuff on our own. One thing to keep in mind, I guess, for the types of excursions they have is that they're pretty classic. You know, you're in Rome, you're making pasta. You're in Vatican City, you're gonna, you know, go see the Vatican. They had tours of like the catacombs, etc. So it's all stuff that's like, oh yeah, I was in Paris, so I went to the catacombs. You know, it's nothing crazy. So for us, when we were in London, we did all this extra stuff that other folks didn't do. So we went like zip lining, we climbed up the O2, which is like a stadium you can climb up on. We did like one of those like super fast boat rides on the Thames River. Like there were all these extra things that we did because we wanted to just fill our time up. And London has a lot of those like extra things you can do. Not the same in so much in terms of Paris and Rome. The excursions that we did through Go Ahead Tours were great. So just a FYI on that. One thing I should know in terms of hidden costs as well is you are expected to tip the tour guide and the tour director the equivalent of about $2 to $3 US for the tours you do in every city. So that ends up being about $6 if you end up doing 3 countries for those 3 countries, as well as you're expected to tip the tour director $7 to $10 US equivalent per day over the course of the trip. So we end up staying 10 days. So that would be like $70 to $100 US converted into whatever the local currency is for their support throughout the trip. So just a FYI to know that going in, so you're not surprised when the tour director is expecting some money from you. But yeah, overall, I would totally recommend Go Ahead Tours. It was a really painless experience. They set up a lot of great stuff for us. I loved all the hotels we stayed in. They were great. We asked a lot of questions. Me and my friends did a lot of pre-planning before our trips. We were shooting them a lot of questions, sending a lot of emails, having a lot of phone calls with them. They were very responsive. They generally had a good understanding of what we should expect, and it really set us up to have a really great time in Europe. So big 2 thumbs up to Go Ahead Tours. Y'all were great. I wish I had some kind of referral code or something that I could put in the description box because I feel people are going to use y'all as a result of this review, and I'm not going to get any cut of that, which is unfortunate. But that's all right. All right, y'all. So that is it. This is the end of this series. I'm kind of sad we're coming to an end. It's been nice seeing you every single day. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you like it, if you want me to keep doing these series. I'm pretty excited to come to you all more regularly. All right. I will see y'all in the next video.